It was a bright Saturday afternoon in Charleston, South Carolina, the kind of afternoon that felt too perfect for heartbreak. The breeze carried the scent of gardenias, and sunbeams danced across the white linen tents that had been erected for what the townspeople called the wedding of the year. The groom was the son of a local judge, the bride was a pediatric surgeon, and the guest list included nearly everyone with a last name worth something in that town. Everyone but Emily. Emily Rivers stood at the edge of her bedroom mirror, fingers frozen on the last button of her soft rose dress. Her eyes betrayed her confidence. It had been 2 years since she had seen Kyle, the man who had once held her hand in moonlight and promised forever. Now, he was about to marry someone else. And she had been invited. Not because he wanted her there, but because this was a town where everyone was expected to attend big events, even the ghosts of past love stories. It felt cruel, but polite. Southern etiquette wrapped around emotional wreckage. But she wouldn't go alone. That's what she told herself 2 weeks ago when she saw the invitation. That's when she posted in a local Facebook group half-jokingly, ISO, wedding date. Tall, funny, good at fake laughing. We'll provide free cake. It got 56 likes, but only one serious message. Jake Lawson. She hadn't spoken to Jake in months. He was the single dad she met through her sister's school. His little girl, Ava, was best friends with Emily's niece. She remembered how Jake used to volunteer for school events even though he worked 2 jobs. A kind man, with gentle eyes and calloused hands. He had the look of someone who had lived through heartbreak but chose kindness anyway. I'll go, he wrote. As long as there's dancing. She smiled at the message, then paused. Why not? Now, here she was, staring at her reflection, about to walk into a wedding that should have been hers, with a man she barely knew. Jake showed up right on time in a charcoal suit that looked like it belonged to someone with a desk job and not someone who laid floors for a living. He held a single sunflower in his hand, felt like roses were too dramatic, he said, and offered it with a shy smile. You ready to pretend we're madly in love? He asked, eyes twinkling with mischief. Emily chuckled nervously. Fake it till the bouquet toss. They arrived at the venue, and immediately Emily could feel the stares. Not all mean, just curious. Everyone knew she and Kyle had been a thing. A serious thing. Whispers rippled as she walked in, but Jake took her hand like they'd done this 100 times before. His grip was warm and steady. You look amazing, he whispered. Kyle must be an idiot. She blinked away, the warmth creeping up her cheeks. Thank you. The ceremony was beautiful. The bride glowed, the vows were painfully perfect, and Emily sat through it with a frozen smile. Jake didn't let go of her hand. At the reception, people approached her, pretending to care about her life while trying to fish for drama. Jake fielded half the questions. Yes, Emily and I are very happy. No, we haven't set a date yet. She makes the best pancakes on this side of the Mississippi. Each time he said something, Emily wanted to laugh and cry. Because part of her wished it wasn't fake. Jake looked at her like she mattered. Like her heart wasn't some wreckage left behind by someone else's ambition. Halfway through the night, Kyle came over. Hey, Em, he said, awkward in his tux, eyes flickering between her and Jake. Didn't expect to see you. Jake squeezed her hand. Emily smiled softly. It's a wedding. Free cake. Kyle chuckled awkwardly, then glanced at Jake. Friend of yours? Boyfriend, Jake said confidently. We met volunteering at the school. Ava's dad. Kyle seemed surprised. Oh, that's nice. And then, something happened. Jake didn't just pretend. He leaned in and kissed her temple. Gentle. Respectful. And something in Emily cracked wide open. After Kyle walked away, she whispered, Why did you do that? Jake looked at her, his voice tender. Because I wanted to. But only if it was okay with you. She didn't answer. She couldn't. There were tears in her eyes. Not from sadness, but confusion. Why was a stranger being kinder than the man she once planned to marry? Later, while Jake was getting drinks, the bride approached her. I hope you're okay, she said. I am, Emily said truthfully. The bride looked hesitant. I probably shouldn't say this, but Kyle told me last month he regrets letting you go. Emily blinked. What? Yeah. He said he thought you'd never support his goals. That you'd want a family right away. And he wanted years of travel and career moves. But now he wonders if he gave up something real. Emily nodded slowly. He did. When Jake returned with 2 glasses of sweet tea, he saw the shimmer in her eyes. Everything okay? Emily looked at him, her voice soft, but steady. Better than okay. The dance floor was crowded, but Jake pulled her gently into a slow dance. You know, he said, I never thought I'd date again. Not after Ava's mom left. But then you posted about needing a fake date, and I figured, maybe this was life giving me a second shot. She rested her head against his chest. You think this could be something real? Jake smiled. If you want it to be. Weeks passed. What started as a fake date turned into real coffee dates. Then brunch with Ava. Then movie nights. Emily found herself drawn to Jake's kindness, the way he never tried to fix her, just listened. Slowly, the pain from Kyle faded like an old bruise. One evening, Emily found herself sitting with Ava, painting in the backyard. Are you going to marry my daddy? Ava asked innocently. Emily laughed. What makes you say that? Because he smiles more when you're here. Emily blinked. That night, she found Jake on the porch, watching the stars. She said you smile more when I'm around. Jake chuckled. She's not wrong. Emily took his hand. I used to think love had to be complicated, that it had to hurt to be real. But this feels different. Jake looked at her, his voice almost a whisper. That's because it's built on kindness, not confusion. She nodded, eyes glistening. Thank you for showing me that. He kissed her softly. And this time, it wasn't pretend. Months later, on the same weekend Kyle and his wife filed for separation, Jake and Emily stood in that same garden. No linen tents. No glitz. Just close friends, Ava tossing flower petals, and a ceremony filled with quiet joy. She had once cried at someone else's wedding, but now she smiled at her own. Because what she found that day wasn't revenge or closure. It was love, pure, kind, and real.